Hello and welcome to episode 16 of the Tea in Tokyo podcast. My name is Somya.
And I'm Ellie.
And what are we talking about this week?
So this week we talk about the top things we want to do once everything is back to normal in Japan.
Yep, that and more coming up right now.
Okay, so before we get into the rest of the podcast, we thought we'd start on a wee sombre note. We had like a loss in the family last week. It was a long time coming. My aunt passed away, and it really hit home some of the, more negative things about, like, not just the whole lockdown, self-isolation, but also living overseas, especially in this situation, because, you know, we can't go back to New Zealand because we won't be able to get back into Japan. Like, apparently you can get back in if you leave and come back and you've got a visa, but I've heard that it's not actually that easy.
Yeah.
Plus, like, flights are too expensive at the moment. We'd have to quarantine for 14 days. Like, in New Zealand, if you arrive from overseas, you're quarantined for 14 days in a specific facility. Plus, because of the lockdown there's not going to be a funeral. There wasn't a funeral, I should say, because it's, you know, you're not allowed large gatherings. But, you know, it's just, you know, it's made it sort of like an already hard time just like extra hard. Because my aunt was like, you know, like a second mum kind of thing. And she was like one of the biggest supporters of our podcast. Like, she loved listening to it. Like, when she was in hospital, she'd listen to it and she'd tell everyone about our podcast, and she'd give a rundown of what happened in it to her family afterwards.
I think 90% of our viewership is thanks to her.
Yeah, so, you know, it's a really crappy situation in, like, an already really crappy time. You know, like, especially hard for, you know, like, her family, like my mum, my dad, my sister, brother, who are living in New Zealand in the same city, but they still couldn't see her. You know, they couldn't be with her in her final moments. They couldn't attend a funeral for her. Yeah, pretty.
Yeah, it kind of highlights another level to the current situation we're in. But also, even outside of that situation, you know, it's just a situation that sucks. And
yeah, it's like anyone, a death of anyone, especially someone who's not... I mean, I don't know, I don't want to say people dying in old age is not sad, but I feel like it's extra sad when it's someone who didn't have a chance to live until they were, like, you know, into old age.
Yeah, for sure.
It just adds, like, an extra element of sadness. And then the whole, like, on top of that again, the fact that people couldn't see her. Fortunately, they allowed some people to visit her. Like, the doctors gave permission in the last week for people to visit her. You know, there was hand sanitizer, there was face masks, there was gloves at the door, and they'd go straight into her room. They weren't allowed to touch her. They didn't interact with anyone else in the house. So lots of family members got to go spend some time with her for her last time.
Yeah.
And then when she was in hospital, my cousin, who, I don't know if she listened, I know that her mum told her about it, but Emmy was really good in that she was grieving herself, but she really looked out for everyone else, being able to call and speak to my aunt for one last time. So there was that element of it. So it's not as though it was entirely, I don't know, cut off and horrible, but
yeah,
we thought we'd start on a wee negative note. Well, not negative, just in, like, remembrance and just in sort of...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This is life.
Thing.
Like, this is a podcast about our life in Japan, and this is one of the aspects that we experienced this week.
Yeah.
So it's been a pretty sad week for both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's, so, yeah.
How do you I mean, on that note, like, we had a pretty sad week. Like, we spent a lot of the week indoors crying a lot of the time, at least in my case. So we didn't do much outside of Japan, but we'd already decided before this happened that this week's podcast we wanted to have a more positive...
Not really positive, it's just we wanted a non-coronavirus related podcast.
Yeah, and her death wasn't related to coronavirus, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
It was other stuff, but...
Yeah, but so we thought, let's go back to Japan. let's...
Well, we're still in Japan.
I know, I mean, in terms of the thinking, like, the podcast and whatnot.
The content.
Yeah, so this week we're not going to be talking about coronavirus. Instead, we thought, let's look to the future for when this whole thing blows over.
Yeah, whenever that is. At least for the future, when travel within Japan is okay again.
Yeah. And let's talk about some of our top places that we want to visit. So we've each come up with 3 places that we really want to go to. And yeah, so we'll go through those today. So do you want to start first or should I start?
I can start.
Okay.
So my first one is, I'd known this one for a while. It's a place called Umami Oshima, or like AKA Umami Island. And I first saw it on a video on YouTube by Currently Hannah, who I believe I've mentioned before. Apparently it's very similar to Okinawa Island in terms of like the flora, fauna and climate. So it's literally just like it's like a fun island to go to, right? Like
so it's just like in the south of Japan.
Yeah, like very southern. Like closer to Taiwan than Japan when I looked at it on the map.
Right.
So it's got beautiful beaches, there's like warm water apparently in the summer, and it's got, the thing that appealed to me is it's got a mangrove forest that you can kayak through. It has really good corals and aquatic life for snorkeling. Good. And there's lots of like elevated like hills, I suppose you could say. So you can get really good views of the whole island. It's in Kagoshima, and it's south of Japan's main islands, and you have to fly there or catch a ferry, and it's a 2.5 hour flight from Tokyo.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about going to... I was thinking about putting a tropical island on my list as well, because like one of the best experiences that we've ever had is when we're in Indonesia, and specifically in the Gili Islands.
Yeah, see, this is why I chose this one over Okinawa, because I feel like it's smaller, like the Gili Islands. Yeah,
we had so much goddamn fun on those islands. Just a tropical island where it's warm all the time, and you just go by, you can just spend your time at the beach all day.
We literally just like lay on the beach all day.
And there's like coral reefs that are close enough where you can just snorkel out and have a look at them.
So Sonia first learned how to swim there.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I was going to pick that too. Though I was like...
Were you going to put Umami Island?
No, not that. I was going to pick a tropical island too. I actually can't remember what the name of the island that I was going to pick is, but I had it in my list that I made like a couple of months ago. And then I had a look at it, and it's like a super tropical island that's really, really great in the south of Japan as well. But it says that because of the number of jellyfish and also because of how polluted the water is from all the tourists, it's actually, you can't even swim in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, this one I feel like it's obviously not completely unheard of. There's like when you look up Umami Island, there's like one of those tourist page things like Japan Guide that comes up for it.
Yeah.
So it's like a known place, but I think most people who go to that part of Japan tend to just go straight for Okinawa.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a smaller, less touristy version, which will have its ups and downs. It means that flights to get there are probably more expensive.
Yeah.
Like accommodation will be more expensive. But when I saw this video that Currently Hannah did like a while ago, I was like, sweet. I didn't even at that point, I didn't even click that Japan had islands like that. Like beachy, tropical islands.
Definitely, like a couple of years back, I wouldn't have thought of Japan.
Yeah, because I don't associate Japan with that.
Yeah, definitely not.
So yeah, how about you? Number one for you?
Wow, this is in no specific order. Like, is that number one for you?
Yeah, mine are in order. Although number 1 and 2.
Number one, so number 1 is the one you most want to go to.
Yeah.
And you did that first.
Yeah, should I not?
Stupid order. Yeah, you don't want to hear the one that you don't want to go to last.
Okay, well, 1 and 2 are kind of the same, and then 3 is like a...
Well, I reckon next you give us number 3, and then we'll go back to 2.
Okay.
So my one, so this is in no particular order. This is just something that I found.
Oh my god, before you say that, I'm so sorry about my squeaky chair, everyone. It's really squeaky. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's...
Stop doing...
Every time I move even a little bit, but...
Okay, so my one is Mashita Risuin.
Okay, let me look at that.
And Risu means squirrel in Japanese. Mashita is an area just outside of Tokyo. So I picked this one because I thought, there's 100 things that we could pick that are kind of outside of what is possible kind of straight after this this pandemic that we're in, the situation that we're in, because things are like so far away and you don't know how to get there and stuff like that. Yeah. But this one's only 90 minutes from, it's 90 minutes from Tokyo.
Oh, yeah.
Well, actually 90 minutes from our house. And it's a squirrel garden. I picked it because I love squirrels. We love animals. We love fluffy animals. And even more so, we love ones that have nice tails.
And I've never seen a squirrel.
Exactly. You've never seen a squirrel before. And the only time I've ever seen a squirrel is when I was in America when I was way younger, and it's still one of my greatest memories.
Yeah, he always tells me about it.
Here is an entire garden dedicated to squirrels. You were saying that you found one that is dedicated to chipmunks.
Oh, yeah, I was going to put on my list a chipmunk one, but Sonia told me not to because he'd already he was like, no, don't do that, because he had already put
Yeah, we don't need chipmunks in our lives. We have squirrels. So I reckon this is a great place that we can visit. However, I've got good news and bad news for this place.
Okay, what is it?
So we can determine, whether we actually want to go here or not.
Ooh, what's the bad news? Bad news first.
So the bad news is, a lot of people talk about how, it's a great place where you can play with squirrels and stuff, but it's also sort of a miniature zoo kind of place.
Ooh.
So they've got the squirrels that run around. Like, they're not in cages or anything, they just run around. But apparently they also have rats there, like in cages. They have, I think it was guinea pigs, and they have like a assortment of other tiny animals, like parrots and stuff, which apparently are living in terrible conditions.
I think that means we don't go slim yet.
Yeah.
We don't want to give our money to that.
Like, one person said how the squirrels are fed sunflower seeds, which apparently are the most fatty seeds, and they shouldn't be.
Is that to make them fat?
Yeah, so that's the bad news. So we're probably not going to go, but we might as well say what the good news is. For good news, I've got the fact that they're cute squirrels, and you get to feed them.
Yeah.
And that's the good news. And also the other good news is that apparently they've made tiny little colourful houses for the squirrels to live in.
Yeah, but I think...
who's seen that colourful houses for a squirrel?
I'm not too opposed to stuff like guinea pigs and even rats being in cages if the cages are like big and nice, because people keep them as pets in those conditions all the time and we don't see it as cruel. I think though, if other people are saying that it's like in like not good conditions, then...
Yeah, as soon as someone said that it was kind of like a zoo, I went, oh fuck, a zoo in Japan, that's not good.
Yeah, zoos in Japan are not great. They're not the same as, it's not like a wildlife park or like a... Yeah, they tend to be very like concrete and wiry.
All right, so my first one was one that we may not even go to.
So that was your number 3?
Yeah, again, no order for mine.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Mine's just random. All right, cool, so let's go with yours now.
I can't believe you put that on your list. I'm kind of shocked. Yeah.
Well, just because I like squirrels. I put it on my list before I read the bad news about it.
We should have known. It's like how we wanted to go to Fox Island and then we looked into it and saw that place sucked as well.
Yeah.
Damn it, world.
You know what I was going to put on is Bunny Island instead of the Squirrel Sanctuary. Well, I say sanctuary now. It's not a sanctuary. It's just a place
sanctuary.
with a lot of squirrels.
Don't you put that word there?
Yeah, I was going to put Bunny Island, but then maybe I should have just gone with Bunny Island.
Yeah, although I bet if we looked into that, we'd find it's unethical as well.
Yeah.
Why does the world have to take good things and just corrupt them just a little bit? Enough to, I feel like it's only corrupted enough that you think it's bad, but you're still tempted.
Yeah.
So my number 3, it took me ages to come up with my third one, which is why we ended up deciding to do honourable mentions, because I really wanted to have one that was in the north of Japan. Like, I wanted to have somewhere that was in Hokkaido. So after like looking at a bunch of lists, 10 hidden gems in Japan, 10 things to do in Japan, I found Nobori Betsu, which is southwest of Sapporo. Yeah. And it's a famous hot spring town. It has this thing called Jigo Kudani, also known as Hell Valley.
Hell Valley?
Yeah, like hell, like, demons and brimstone, because there's volcanic gas that seeps from the earth, so it makes it very, like, in all the photos, it looks super, like, apocalyptic and Middle-earth-esque.
Oh, cool.
So it's also surrounded by the ocean, forests, lakes, and mountains. So, like, there's not just hot springs and the cool, volcanic area to go to. There's, like, lots to do. And it's basically Japan's, like, most famous hot spring resort.
Right.
So it's not like a hidden gem. It's like people know about this place. And I think sometimes you want to do something fun that's, like, no one else knows about, but sometimes things are popular tourist destinations for a reason.
Yeah.
And
also, so this is our 4th month in Japan now, and we still haven't been to an onsen.
Sorry.
So technically, I mean, part of that reason is because of what's happening right now, but also, we haven't been to an onsen. You kind of have to go to an onsen. We've got to get
the courage, because, so the thing in New Zealand with hot springs is you wear your togs, whereas in Japan, you go naked.
You don't have to explain that. Like, that's how it is in every place, except for Japan.
Is it?
Well, actually, except for some South Asian countries like Japan.
Yeah, but for me, that's the reason that I haven't been to an onsen yet, because I need to get the courage up to, like, go into a public area naked, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, there are private ones as well, so maybe you could do a private one first and then a...
Yeah, I think I'd definitely start with a private one.
It's not like that would give you any more courage, I guess. But.
Yeah, maybe I'll only do a private one.
Yeah.
I know, but the worst thing, the thing that annoys me, right, is... Well, not annoys me, but the thing that puts me off is that we'd be going in separate male-female ones, so we'd just be going by ourselves into a hot spring, like, naked with strangers, or we'd go into a, like, unisex one, in which case, I don't know if I want to be in one with these other, like, creepy dudes, you know? Not to say all men are creepy.
The onsen experience here is, it's rooted deep into their tradition, and I feel like they would check their creepiness at the door.
I don't know. I reckon most of them are, like, separated by sex. So the unisex ones are bound to draw a couple of people who are, like...
Yeah, true.
There to be perverts.
Yeah.
And, like, not necessarily just the men. I mean, maybe some of the women that go to the unisex ones are wanting to perv on the guys, you know?
Yeah.
Plus, like, myself, like, going into, like, a woman-only one, I'd be so worried that, like, because I'm not used to seeing lots of naked female bodies, I'd stare, and then I'm the creepy one. I don't want to be the creepy one.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you're overthinking it a little bit.
Yeah, I am, but...
But yeah, so this place, what's this place called again?
Nobody Betsu.
Nobody Betsu, okay.
And,
Nobody beats it when it comes to onsens.
That was really bad. But the main reason is not even necessarily for onsens. I really liked the idea of that Hell Valley.
Yeah.
It reminded me of, there's a place in New Zealand I went to with my family near Rotorua that's similar.
So those are active volcanoes?
I think there's a volcano nearby.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a walkway where there's like steam or whatever rising up.
Okay. All right, well, my number 2 is, it's actually quite similar to yours, but a little bit different. And also I cheated a little bit on this because we were saying, like, what's something specific that we want to do or we want to go to or something. My one is Hokkaido, but it's not. No, it's not all of Hokkaido. It's national parks in Hokkaido.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So there's 34 national parks all around Japan. Hokkaido has 5 of them, and like, because what I really really want to do is, because obviously we're in Tokyo, we haven't been outside of Tokyo. Tokyo is the biggest city in the world, most populated city in the world. I want to go and see Japan's nature. Yeah. So Hokkaido's the place to go if you want to see animals.
I was looking up ticks the other day because I was like, crap, does Japan have ticks? Because we don't, I don't think, in New Zealand. And it turns out they're all in Hokkaido. It says everywhere that they've got the worst ones in Hokkaido, which kind of put me off.
Another thing that you're worried about where I'm just like,
I know, it's just the idea terrifies me.
Yeah, I don't get that.
If I went to one of the parks there, I think I'm going to fully cover my whole body in like a morph suit. Sorry, I just hit the table.
Yeah, you should. Yes, but there's a couple of different national parks that I have had a look at. There's Akan National Park, which has the largest volcanic cauldron.
How's it spelled?
AKAN. Cauldron. Caldera in Japan.
Oh wow.
So yeah, that's the place we go. Kushiro Shishugan National Park, which is the largest swamp in Japan, which I thought, cool. That'd be a great place to get some photos of birds. That'd be a great place for birds.
Anyone who doesn't know, if you ever go for a walk with Somya anywhere, when he's got his camera, like, it's just photos of birds. It's so, you stop, like, every metre to take a photo of a bird.
Well, I'd love to be a wildlife photographer, but it's so much easier to photograph buildings and stuff than wildlife, because you need, like, better gear to be able to photograph wildlife. And also, obviously, there's not a whole lot of wildlife out there.
And also, it's like, wildlife is spontaneous. You can't predict what it's going to do.
Birds are something that you see around, and they're wild as well, Like, it's not like a cat or a dog. So that's why I like taking pictures of birds. Yeah. And also, I really love photography, and I haven't done it in, like, a month now. Yeah. So I was just kind of thinking about these great places that we could go. And then there's one more, Shiritoko National Park. It has 3 large waterfalls, lots of nature. Okay, I don't know why I wrote that. And chance to see orca whales, brown bears, eagles, and seals. It's got it's got all the sea stuff and it's got all the land stuff.
I feel like it's got all the big land stuff.
Yeah. Brown bears. They actually have brown bears here in Japan. So Hokkaido National Parks. I think we really need to go there. We really need to go up to Hokkaido and just see the nature.
No, good. So that can be a trip where we go to Hokkaido, we go to Noboribetsu, and then we travel around all the parks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be perfect, actually.
Sweet.
And also with, like, I reckon with summer coming up, because it's so hot in Japan, if we can go traveling within the next couple of months, Hokkaido might be the best place to go because it's so far north that it's going to be cooler.
No, that's some interesting logic.
And it's summer. So.
You know, I was thinking, shouldn't we go to, like, Umami Oshima because, like, it's a tropical island and in the heat you swim a lot. Although I'd probably sunburn, so yours probably makes more sense.
Yeah. All right, so what's your second one, which is your third?
My second / so this is my middle one. But it was kind of a tie between this and my first one because my first one is one I wanted to do for ages and this one was one I just found out about. And it's also kind of a cheat one, like Sonia's, because I've kind of, like, encapsulated the whole area.
Yeah.
But I've specifically said I'd like to go to Kinroku-in, which is in Kanazawa. It's like a garden, right? And I've got a quote here of what it means. So Kinroku-in literally means Garden of the Six Sublimities, which refers to spaciousness, seclusion, artificiality, antiquity, abundant water, and broad views, which according to Chinese landscape theory are the 6 essential attributes that make up a perfect garden.
What the hell are you even saying? You just said a bunch of words.
So apparently...
So what is it? It's a garden.
It's a garden, and apparently it's like it's in like the top 3 gardens to visit in Japan.
And do what there?
Just walk around.
I don't know, like, is it a shrine as well? Or is it
no,
just a
it's
garden?
like, you know that garden we went to in Yokohama?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's like an even bigger, better version of that.
Oh, okay, right.
So this is like one that comes up everywhere. So the grounds that the garden is on used to be a part of Kanazawa Castle.
Nice.
And the garden took 2 centuries to build, or like develop, yeah. It opened to the public in 1871, and Kanazawa Castle, which is from 1583, used to be like a really powerful area. But the actual castle itself has had so many fires throughout history that it's burnt down and been rebuilt heaps of times, most recently being 1881. So my logic was this garden is kind of a cool way
everything
to
kind of burnt, everything kind of got destroyed at the end of the 19th century.
Yeah.
Japan.
Yeah.
Wasn't there like an emperor who like...
Was that the end of like one of the periods or something?
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, I think something happened.
But yeah, so there used to be from that castle. So it's the gardens from that castle. And the way that this is kind of like a cheat for me is it's just past this area called Toyama, which for some reason I've had so many students here recommend visiting Toyama. When I ask them for like where do you think I should visit that no one else will have recommended yet, they all say Toyama.
Right.
I don't know why, but it's got a really famous dam, and you can also take.
Oh yeah, you've told me about the dam.
Yeah, I've told you about the dam.
People love the dam.
So many students tell me to visit this dam, but it's also got the Tateyama Kurobe Alpine route that you can do by cable car from Toyama.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of like a 2-in-1 if you're visiting the area, and it's 3.5 hours by Shinkansen.
Sweet.
So. That one I feel like, you know, you can do a bunch. You get to visit a cool garden, but you can also go like look at the Alpine route and view like the natural, like, you know, magnificence of all the mountains in the area.
Yeah.
So yeah. And that was my number 2.
Okay, my last one is Nachi Waterfall, which is on the route up to Nachi Mountain, or Mount Nachi. So it's 133 meters tall. Okay, it is the highest single drop waterfall in Japan.
Do you know what? I already know all of this because I almost put this one on my list too.
So there are other waterfalls that are bigger. There's one in Japan that's like over 300 meters tall, like almost the same height as the Sky Tower, which is ridiculous. That's so tall, but it has like different levels, so like crashes down like halfway or like a third of the way, and then it crashes down another bit. This one, 133 meters of pure drop. And then in front of it is this amazing temple/shrine. And, you know, it looks amazing. Like, the temple's in front. You can see the waterfall behind. It's up in the nature.
I'm surprised it's our only temple. It's our only temple.
It's our only temple. Oh, yeah. Well, that's why I kind of chose it. I thought, okay, let me go for something more traditional Japanese. Something that's kind of man-made. So let's go for this. The cool thing about this is it's a temple shrine combo. So you know how we're always like, oh man, is this a shrine or is this a temple? This is both. and it's one of the few in Japan that's both, because in the end of the 19th century, the dude who was in charge in 1868, he went around destroying all of them.
Ah, okay. So is that why you think all these places burnt down?
Yeah, I think there was an asshole that ruled at the end of the 19th century. Which makes sense. Isn't that when Japan started being dicks to the rest of the world? That's when they started taking over everyone. When they started... Yeah, that's like when they started, taking over the Southeast...
like, when was the...
Asia and China.
When was the...
South Korea.
Like, Edo period? Was this when the Edo period...
No, this is the Edo period. This is it.
We're in the Edo period right now.
Oh, actually, I don't
know. Or was
know.
was that when the Edo period ended? Like... Maybe,
yeah. I'm not too sure.
Let me quickly check. Oh, yeah, so it was between 1603 and 1868. So it must have been like right
1868, exactly. This is the year.
Oh,
so
there you go.
As soon as this ended, the next emperor that came along, he decided to destroy everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the temple here was built... They think it was built around in the 4th century by a monk who came from India.
Oh, wow.
And back in the day, apparently it was very common for Shinto and Buddhist temples to kind of, like, for them to share a lot of their temples and a lot of, like, their core beliefs and stuff. But then this guy kind of separated everything and made it into two separate things.
Wasn't the Shinto temple that was there, it's because specifically they, like... Because, in Shinto religion, like, lots of areas, lots of places are believed to have spirits. And so wasn't it specifically there to worship the, like, kami... of the waterfall?
I have no idea.
I feel like when I was looking up this place, that's what I saw.
Maybe.
Unless that was a different place.
What I saw is that a lot of people pilgrimage up to it.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's like apparently quite a spiritual journey.
Oh, yeah.
Going through the forest, up the mountain, and then seeing this thing in front of a waterfall. That's kind of cool. And also, they've got a old-ass tree there. 1,000 years old tree.
Wow.
It's a holy tree. So yeah, that's kind of cool too.
Man, it's crazy that trees just live to be 1,000 years old.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Like, how does that? Do trees just live forever? I think we've had this conversation before.
I don't know.
I think some of them do.
I think they might be able to, right? Some of them might just be able to live forever. Yeah, why not?
I remember I was reading about how there's a tree in Mexico that's like the oldest living tree, and it's like literally this like ugly ass looking like stumpy thing. But
yeah, that's right.
But like. It's the oldest living tree.
But then it depends, like, what definition. There's some trees that, like, they make roots.
Oh,
and then another tree, so then you'll see, like, an entire forest, and it turns out the entire forest is actually just one tree, which is kind of weird as well.
That's pretty cool.
So 1,000-year-old tree, old temple, waterfall. This place has got everything you need.
Specifically.
Yeah, giant
Somya's
waterfall.
a big fan of, like, oversized anything.
Yeah,
right.
I like big things, yeah.
Like, he loves, like, giant boats and giant, like when, what was it? Like, not Godzilla. Oh, what's the monkey one? My mind is just blank.
King Kong.
King Kong. When King Kong came out a while ago, we lived in a flat with, like, I don't even, like, it was when we lived on, like, Matapo Street with a bunch of the guys, and my only memory of Matapo Street, specifically, of living in the flat for a year, is that Somya always been on about how giant King Kong was in the latest movie, and how much he wanted to see it. Like, I literally have barely any recollection of that flat, except for how often you're discussing.
And that was a good movie, because he was big. Ellie doesn't appreciate big things, like big ships. Alright, we should probably stop talking about that. Oh yeah, the other cool thing about this waterfall, right, is you can rent 9th century costumes. Because this is something that I was looking up as well. I was like, okay, where can we get some nice costumes to wear? And this is it. I was gonna pick, like, they're like, those fake, like, olden day towns that you can go to. And then you can wear costumes and stuff. Well, this one, it's not a fake town, but you can still wear the costume, which is cool.
Oh, cool. So what, like kimono and yukata and stuff?
Yeah, I think so. From the 9th century.
Which actually, talking about old towns, one of my honourable mentions.
Well, hold on.
Oh, sorry, but it was just irrelevant to what you were saying.
Well, okay, in that case.
Okay.
Now, let us begin the honourable mentions.
Okay. So one of my honourable mentions was Shirakawa-go, which is a World Heritage Site with, like, you've probably heard about it. It's, like, old school thatched roofs that are, like, really big and steep because, like, the snow falls on them. And it's near Kanazawa, so it could become a part of the trip to the Kinroku-in as well. But it's, like, a famous site. Like, you can always see pictures of it because it looks really, like, old school.
Okay, my one is... I've gone for ones that are more, like... Yeah, they're not that special. but they're ones where it's like, you know what? They mean something to us, like, I feel like. So Universal Studios.
Ah, yeah.
I feel like we had such a good time at Disneyland that, you know, Universal would be amazing.
Do you know,
get to see all the movies, you know, the movie rides and stuff. And apparently they're super, like, adrenaline-fueled rides and stuff. So.
When this is all over, I'd add on to that. Going back to Disneyland.
Yeah, why not?
But one of my other ones then was the Shidogane Blue Pond, which is a lake/pond. It's man-made, but it was kind of an accident because there was this volcano that kept on erupting, and so to stop the lava from like destroying the area, they built a massive dam. And this is one of the ponds that like formed naturally after that, and the water is like bright blue because of the minerals from the volcano.
Oh, nice.
So apparently it's super cool to go to in autumn and winter.
Yeah, I saw the photo of that. The water looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay, what's one of yours?
My next one is skiing in Sapporo.
Oh, I can't ski though.
Yeah, neither can I. I've realised it's like Japan is known as one of the greatest places in the world to ski. Sapporo is one of the, you know, specifically one of the best places. People come from all around the world to ski here. Great skiing conditions. We don't know how to ski, but we should at least do it once.
I still think that we should at least, I don't know, do we have to ski? Can't we just go like build snow angels and stuff, igloos?
Like if you're in a place where it's snowing that much, you know, we're going to be doing that anyway outside of the hostel. But this is something specific that I feel like we should really do.
Yeah, I know, I agree. I'm just so not looking forward to how embarrassed I'm going to be when I suck at it.
Yeah, you know, in my girly book that I read the other day, she learned how to snowboard and ski actually, and she was also very embarrassed. But she managed to do it, even though she fell on her butt a lot.
Yeah, I'm not some dumb teenager in like a fiction book. So my next one is the Flower Tunnel of Wisteria. So everyone's probably seen those pictures of like super Instagrammable spots. And there's this like giant flower tunnel of like wisteria flowers, which are like purple flowers, just like hanging from the roofs and the walls and all over the ground. And apparently it's a really good place to visit in spring.
Okay, cool. And then my next one is Fuji Rock Fest. So something that I thought about, was it today or yesterday? I can't remember. But Ellie and I love going to concerts. And this year we had a couple lined up and they've had to cancel because of the pandemic, obviously. Which,
you know what, one cancelled before the pandemic and we still never got a refund for it.
Yeah, we're not getting a refund for that. We move on. And
no, it's just so because it wasn't. They can't even use the excuse of the pandemic because they cancelled before it all happened.
Yeah.
Who was there? What was it for?
Off Monsters and Men.
God damn it, Monsters and Men.
We'll figure that out though. But right now, actually, Fuji Rock Fest is not being cancelled. It's going ahead. Summer Sonic, which was cancelled because of the Olympics, but now that the Olympics aren't happening, they're actually doing it again. So I'm pretty surprised that these places are going ahead, but I guess they expect the whole pandemic thing to end
I reckon
fairly
that's such
soon.
wistful thinking.
Well, actually, let's be honest, we're in Japan where there isn't no pandemic, basically. Yeah. So, you know, it's probably going to end next month for us. So Fuji Rock Fest, I reckon. We need to go to a concert this year.
I feel like it's really dumb to go to a concert when, like, just because the pandemic has ended in terms of the state of emergency stopping.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we don't have to go this year, next year, whatever. Whenever we can go, we'll go.
And then my next three on the list are literally just, like, the ones you have to put. So I've got Okinawa, Kyoto, and Osaka.
So not specific at all?
Not specific at all, just like, you know what, we'll go there, we'll go to the bamboo forest in Kyoto, we'll go to the castle at Osaka, like, we'll go to the beaches at Okinawa, you know?
Okay, fair. My one is, I've got one specific one, one non-specific. Which one do you want to listen to first? Specific, Mount Oyama. Oyama, again, 90 minutes from Tokyo. Apparently, what I've heard from this one is if you don't want to go to Mount Fuji, you know, there's so many tourists, it's massive. Go to a smaller mountain where you still get the joy of Mount Fuji. Go to this one. Apparently, there's great views of Mount Fuji. There's a nice forest there. There's a great hike. It only takes... Oh, actually, it's 90 minutes from Tokyo to get there. The hour and a half is actually to get to the summit.
Oh, yeah.
Hour and a half to get to the summit. So that's something that we can do.
Oh, which actually reminded me, before you do your last one, Mount Takao.
Yeah.
Is one that everyone recommends in Japan because apparently it's really easy, and in autumn it's got beautiful maple trees everywhere, so it's like super aesthetic. So I want to do, you know, I'm going to add that to my honourable mentions.
Yeah, alright.
Okay, what's your general one?
My general one is Onsen. So we kind of went to that, the one that you wanted to go to.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need to go to an Onsen. It's about time. Alright, well that's kind of it then, right?
Yeah, this is us. That's how sad we are living in Swords. We're just planning our future, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Alright, well, thank you for listening. Follow us on Twitter, TN Tokyo. Follow us on Instagram, T_in_Tokyo. Mm-hmm. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Oh, if you have any suggestions, let us know.
I already
on
said bye.
what to do or what to talk about.
Okay. Yeah, that too.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.